afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, June 27th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night at 9 p.m., and we'll be exploring more about the Tartarians and on from there. One of the greatest blessings in humanity is our sensitivity, our consciousness, Osho. Deeper inside you, very close to your heart center, exists a divine state of compassion. Have you ever met anybody that doesn't really have compassion? I've met people that don't have any compassion. It is a lightness that instantly destroys all judgment, criticism, and heaviness the moment it is exposed. This all-forgiving, deeply understanding, accepting nature is always here now and always available in you. Nothing can take it away, change it, or destroy its source. It is your essential nature that is with you everywhere you go and makes everything in your life flow with grace and effortless ease. Discovering the unlimited source of compassion inside you comes from realizing the spiritual truth of who you are. By knowing that you are an infinite, eternal soul connected to limitless love, intelligence, and creativity, you immediately relax and enter this divine state. Abiding in this awakening knowledge is the only way to effectively handle the outrageous pain we all experience in life. When you truly know this amazing divinity as what you are, your consciousness skyrockets, and you stop creating situations that would have caused you more pain. When you understand that who you are is beyond this world of form and formless, beyond time and timelessness, you transcend the evaluations of the mind and can rest as the source of grace itself. There are many ways to access this spiritual truth inside you, as there are stars in the sky. The moment you find your mind becoming judgmental, critical, or upset about anything is the best moment to practice accessing deeper compassion. The secret here is to take a deep breath, relax deeper into your body, and notice what the mind is overly attached to. Simply watch, breathe, and wait. Notice how these illusionary ideas, desires, judgments are purely hypothetical mental drama. You can see how they are part of the game of your spiritual awakening and accept them without reacting to them. Every negative experience that we have is simply there to lead us deeper into the ultimate compassionate state where our minds, heart, and body are completely aligned and healed. By understanding there is a divine intelligence behind every experience, the negative feelings we are battling will simply lose their power. Any judgment that we have about these negative experiences only inflame and deepen the source of pain and negate the fact that an all-loving, divine intelligence is present. The secret here is to know everything has a divine purpose and a deeper meaning if we are only willing to let it in. Whenever negativity arises inside us, the key to transcending them is looking towards the source of where these thoughts come from. All of our old repetitive contracted thoughts were handed down to us from our parents and their parents. They are not our thoughts. They actually don't belong to anyone They are not our thoughts, and they don't actually belong to anybody. So nobody is to blame. When you refrain from over-identifying with your heaviest thoughts, they no longer have power over you, and you liberate yourself from them. Perhaps the greatest practical secret to unveiling this unlimited source of compassion inside you is a faithful practice in fully accepting yourself exactly as you are. Compassion naturally arises when you have full acceptance of everything inside you and are remaining curious with those parts you just cannot accept. It's just good to know that every aspect of you is acceptable, worthy of being what it is, and even lovable. It really just depends on what perspective you are looking at it from as to how you are seeing it. Even those revengeful, helpful, hateful, mean parts deserve love when you look at the painful wounds they are born from. Having total acceptance is what lays the foundation to opening up your feelings so that you can be sensitive enough to find the infinite wellspring of compassion inside you. The most powerful experience of your life begins with your commitment to accept yourself just as you are, and to remain in a state of curiosity about all the parts you cannot accept. Your wounded and angry parts are there for a reason, and to reject them is to reject yourself. As you journey inwards, practicing self-acceptance, you will find things which you honestly believe that nobody can accept or tolerate. This is the moment to raise the white flag of surrender, because these parts also need love. Everything comes from the divine, all-intelligent spiritual source, especially those things we believe are very far removed from it. With a persistent curiosity and infinite patience, we will eventually find acceptance inside ourselves. This is a gateway to accessing the state of unlimited compassion with everyone in this world. It takes great courage to choose to accept whatever you discover inside you. Yet the real work is simply being with the unacceptable feeling in its raw form. No matter what the feeling is, try to give it 100% permission to exist exactly as it is, so you can feel and thus know it intimately. The mind is going to try to change or avoid those critical parts inside you deemed as unacceptable and never actually feel them. However, even though this is a great strategy, this is not love. It is only through feeling the wound and having the total acceptance of it that you will find the grace of profound healing naturally taking place. Be aware that the mind is very cunning and that it can say it is choosing to accept something that is unacceptable, yet truthfully, you are still resisting and rejecting it. Acceptance is not something you can force. It naturally arises on its own when the unacceptable feeling has been fully felt and emotionally processed. This is why curiosity is needed. With enough patience and curiosity, in time, you'll eventually find peace with every part inside you. When you live from this place of childlike curiosity with yourself, you'll naturally be compassionate without even trying, and everything will flow through your life with joy and ease. To discover your ultimate state of compassion today, first take responsibility for any limiting roles you've been playing in your life. If you were an actor or actress on the stage of your life, what has your character been challenged by? What types of difficult conversations, feelings, and circumstances did you choose to play out with others? What if transcending this pattern was your life's mission? What if your every response that you had from here on out was a compassionate response, no matter what occurred? When your awareness reaches beyond the roles you have been trapped in, then you can transcend them and make your entire life a divinely playful play. The game of life is one of many great illusions where we've each signed up to act out a variety of roles on stage. These roles are not who you really are. They are simply unconscious roles you're still acting out. When you are fully conscious of the roles you're playing and realize that you can play any role at any time, then you have mastered the entire play. When you are fully conscious of the roles you're playing, and you realize that you can play any roles at any time, then you have mastered the entire play. However, in order to pass the final exam in this great theatrical school of mirrors, you must choose to know how to play the opposite role that you've been so used to playing. You must choose to master both sides so you can drop all the roles. From the state you transcend duality and are free from any heavy or light role your ego was habitually caught in. If and when you find yourself playing the victim game and you're constantly caught in the role of blaming yourself, the other, and then needing to be forgiven, you are simply not playing the empowered, compassionate role. You may then need to retake the test several times. If you wish to ascend to the higher levels of education, truly get it right. It's a very challenging exam because when the ego is in charge, the opposite role can seem very wrong, may even threaten your survival in this world. And the consequences appear very real. Yet the truth is that all suffering is purely an illusion, created by the mind. And when you release your attachment to playing any particular role, then you are free. When you realize you are the actor, the writer of the play, the audience, and the backstage technicians, you have mastered the play of life. When you understand that you are both pure consciousness and the limited ego mind, you've passed the test and will soon discover the absolute source of compassion within. This learning allows you to deeply enjoy every living experience of this life. You know that the divine reality is here now, yet you cannot always see it because it's much, much deeper than any single belief or thought. You cannot find reality with the mind. You must surrender to a state of mindlessness. Timelessness, or mindfulness, and be in no mind. You must surrender to a state of mindlessness, timelessness, or mindfulness, and be in no mind. When you've found no mind, you've found God. And this natural compassion is forever present. So simply surrender to reality deeply. Let go of your past and letting in the love. There is nothing more simple and effortless to attain. Compassion will come beckoning at your feet. If you feel blocked and simply cannot find an ounce of compassion for yourself or others, imagine who is the most compassionate, loving person that you know. Invite them into the room and imagine stepping into their bodies. Taste a feeling of what it may be like to become this higher compassionate being. Try this just for a few minutes each day. You'll soon discover a lightness growing inside you. Whenever you feel it, abide in it for as long as you can. Use the breath as a way to remain connected to this feeling. This bridges a deeper soul connection within yourself. and opens the compassionate gates for you to share this divine state with the people you connect with throughout your day. One big step to take this week is to have compassion for your life with all its karma and issues that you've had to face. These tough experiences may not seem like the perfect life you asked for, yet each situation is created for your soul's greatest awakening. All the lessons you will receive in this lifetime, you have most likely already forgotten that you asked for them. This is why they are coming your way. Everything is predestined in this life. And by realizing this, you merge with its flow, understand what you are to learn from it, and can have compassion for any situation you find yourself in. So you can choose for the next 7 days or so, get into the habit of being compassionate with yourself and other people, no matter what happens. Choose to become someone who can transcend any judgment, burden, blame, or grudge that occurs. You will easily be able to do this by following this simple exercise each morning. The moment you wake up, take a look deeper inside yourself at the core of your being. Look for the lightest, most loving, gentle, forgiving energy you can imagine. Listen closely to your heart and notice the gentlest voice coming from inside you. Find that softest voice that is infinitely patient, delectably sweet, instantly melts your heart, and lighter than air. This inner search may take you 2 minutes or 2 hours, yet keep searching until you find it. This gentleness is the ultimate key to total compassion and freedom, and your imagination is the golden key. Every evening before you fall asleep, decide that the moment you wake up, you're going to find an even deeper and more profound source of gentleness inside you. Work your compassion muscle each morning for the next 7 days. You'll find the miraculous has always existed in the ordinary. So if you will, go to a place where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies we are in, because we are not the body. We are not the ego. We are not the mind. We are not the personality. We're not the character. We are the gods within this body. So to relax this body, because it takes in so much stress, is use your breath. You focus on your breath. You listen to your breath. Easy and slowly in through the nose, easy and slowly out through the mouth. And as you do that, the body begins to let go. Because what happens is that, see, we put out over 60,000 thoughts a piece every day, nonstop. And then, of course, we have that mind chatter that's on 24/7. Then we've got tens of millions and billions of thoughts that fly by like clouds in the sky. They're programs. 99.999% of the time, they have nothing to do with us. So look at all that busyness. It's amazing, isn't it? Most of us aren't aware of that. So the body begins to de-stress, moves into ease. And you realize that just about everything we put on ourselves is an illusion. And we're such powerful beings in these bodies that we pull them in. And what does the body do? It takes them in and stores them. Every one of us experiences some level 24/7 of stress. Stress is brought on by illusions, worry, fear, anxiety. All of that, anger, hatred, envy, greed, all of these things, revenge, they cause the body to become distressed. You ever gotten angry? How long does it take you to recover from being angry? It takes a while. And what do you think the body's going through? If it doesn't have, you don't recover from anger in 2 seconds, depending on the level of anger. And the interesting part about it is that when we express anger, we damage ourselves. Not who we're angry with, ourselves. So we know that these bodies store a lot of things. Stress, anxiety, fear. And we don't really know it because we're not tuned to it. And I've talked with people through the years that they get up in certain years, as the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they just say they can't handle stress as much as well as they used to. No, because the body's breaking down. And the ego mind creates all the stress for the body. You see how imperative it is to stay in the now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but the now. On the breath. Moment to moment. The breath is the now. It's a divine positive energy. And we still the ego mind by focusing on the breath moving into the now, because we leave it alone. We don't engage it. We don't engage those 60,000 thoughts that we put out every day. We don't engage the subconscious mind. We're only in the now. We don't even interact with any of that when you're in the now. And this is the only way you're going to master them, by watching them on the outside, not judging them. You watch how they operate. Watch how the ego mind operates. Watch how the subconscious mind operates. Because the subconscious mind is it's like a super recorder. It records everything. As soon as you enter that baby body, it starts from that point forward. Records it all. Past lives, whole 9 yards. And at times, whatever's been around you, it records that too. And then, at times, it plays it back. So the subconscious mind is like your great whole resource information. But when you're watching them, then you start to realize that when you have an ego thought, you'll know it. This is an ego thought. I'm not interested in it. Or ego feeling. Not interested in that. And it'll just pass by. You'll let it go right through you and out. So this is how we master them. This is how we quiet the mind. This is how we disengage from the material physical world. Now, it doesn't mean that we just close the door. It just means that we're not in it. We're outside of it. That means that we can enjoy it when we want, but we don't form any attachments or expectations. So we're always in the now. We practice. We may not always be in the now, but the more we practice, the longer we'll be able to stay in the now. Now, on occasion, or all the time, just depends, we float off, right? Because the ego mind's out there. It just doesn't care to have you stay in the now because it doesn't exist in the now. So it'll do everything it can to get you out of the now, into yesterday or tomorrow. And we got all those thoughts, those programs running by. We've got our own that we send out over 60,000 every 24 hours, the universe. So, and we don't know all of those because we haven't mastered our thoughts. So when that happens, you make sure that you're practicing gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. The highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, the purest purest, eternal gratitude. And so when that happens, you're not hurting yourself at all. You say, that's not a big deal. I'll focus on my breath and I'll be in the now every single time. And you will. And isn't it interesting how we fall for the ego mind to seduce us into yesterday or tomorrow? And that's where we usually experience what? Suffering. Disappointment. Because we have attachments to certain outcomes and expectations of things that we pick up. And we're disappointed. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Now picture yourself standing in the center of three paths. And we're all there. And we're in the now. And we look at the paths. And we see the trees that formed a golden canopy over the paths. Tree, the leaves, the bark, the branches. And we notice that the paths themselves are a brilliant emerald green flaming grass. Appears to be grass. Now the one in the center, the now, which we're all standing on, it looks brand new, just about. The one on the left, yesterday, is really, it's really worn. The one on the right, tomorrow, is really worn. So we get seduced into yesterday or tomorrow. This is what we're constantly being thrusted into. Yesterday or tomorrow, tomorrow or yesterday, yesterday, tomorrow, tomorrow, yesterday, yesterday, tomorrow. And we're not aware of it most of the time. It's almost become natural when it's the most unnatural thing we could do. Now, we all reminisce. And we'll go over things, right? Boy, that was fun. I had a good time. I wish I could do that again. And it's good to, you have nostalgia and memories and everything. And then we even look at the times where it didn't work out that great. And so we can use that as a reference to say, well, I'm going to try it this way. Maybe it'll work out. So we'll go into the past. We all do at times. And we have the subconscious mind, great hall, right? Each of us have one of those. And we go and open the door, we go in the room. When you walk into a room, you may be somewhat conscious or not, but you'll immediately just flash glance at the ceiling and the walls. Well, when you walk into your great hall, you can't see any walls or ceilings. It's so vast. But nonetheless, you'll go to the shelves and the drawers, right? And you'll get some movies and some books and some pictures. And you'll sit in an easy chair. You'll see it's a white panel just floating in the air. So you'll watch some of the movies and you'll read some of the books and you look at some of the pictures. You have a good time. Reminiscing, enjoying. But you don't stay there. You visit and you'll put everything back in its proper place. Turn off the light, shut the door, and move forward in life. In this life. And on occasion, you'll visit it. But see, some of us unconsciously will stay in that past so long that they end up bringing the past into a future that doesn't exist, create that future from that past, relive that past in that future. This is why people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, we all go into the future. Yes, tomorrow. The reason we go into the future is because we get anxious, get hurried. You know, you ever done that? You ever felt hurried, anxious, wanting to know something, you know, driving you crazy? You got to know it. You got to know it. You want to know. So we go into tomorrow, the future, and we seek out external authorities. Because the only reason we go into the future is because we don't have the answers to the future, right? And so the ego mind pokes and prods us and pulls us into the future, tomorrow. So you go tarot card readers, you go to tea leaf readers, palm readers, astrologers, psychics, clairvoyants, all different kinds of readers. And you can sit down and say, what would you like to know? And usually the number one question is about money, right? And the second one is about usually well-being. Third one is usually about relationships, and not necessarily in that order. So you get in front of a reader, and the reader says, you know, cards are telling me that you're going to come into a large sum of money. It's going to come out of the clear blue. And you say, wow, really? Yeah. And you say, I can't believe where that would be coming from. I don't have any rich relatives or anything. You see, they're already starting to negate it. And so the reader says, oh, no, it's going to happen in the next week. Really? Yes. Now, you get 3 responses to this on average. And the first response is not necessarily in this order, but the first response could be, that's a big deal. I don't believe that stuff anyway. I was just curious. And then you have the second person who fixates on it, gets really excited, right? And writes it in the calendar, watches every day, trying to figure out how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and the time it's going to happen. And then, you know, putting attachments on the outcome of it and what it will mean to them. And then having expectations it's going to happen in a week, so it's going to happen on this day. Now, the third one looks at it and says, that's great news. That's phenomenal news. So they have a total trust in themselves and the universe. They have no doubt, none whatsoever. So they send it out, and if they want to get more detailed with it, they can, but usually they send it out, and they understand and know that it's already manifesting. Now, out of those 3, the third one will end up manifesting because they're not tinkering with it, tampering with it. You know, they're not constantly fixated on it. When you're fixated on something, it means that you're doubting all along. That's why you're fixated on it. So when you're not fixated on it, you just let it go. You know it's going to happen. You just know it in your heart mind. It's not ego mindset. It's not conceit or arrogance. It's just knowing. And it happens. And it is funny, you laugh about it, because all these answers that we're looking for, seeking out, are literally within us. When we go within, we find out why we don't receive what we ask for. We find this out. Why? Why does that happen? Then you begin to understand you're a master manifester because you're manifesting 24/7. Now, we have parts of ourselves, the gods that we are. Some of those parts are stone cold asleep. And then some are awake, consciously aware, meaning that we know that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Now, it doesn't mean we don't deeply love the parts that are asleep. We love them as much as we do the parts that are awake. And when we start to discover and understand, it's like the Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua, the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian, all the inhabitants of inner Earth, hollow Earth, Agartha, and beneath Earth, all of our loved ones who ascend out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes we've inhabited, fairies, the sprites, the elves, the dwarves, the gnomes, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, and minotaur, the light energy beings and the different light spectrums. We're all one, not the body, that's the illusion. The gods within these bodies are all one. We're all experiencing different things in different forms. It's fascinating. So then you begin to realize that you're not separate. Okay? And that's when you go within. Then you discover I'm not separate, so I am everything. That's right. Then you take it a couple steps higher, and you start realizing you can literally be anywhere, any time, any place, in a blink of the eye, since you're part of the one, which is everything, and you're not separate. That means that you have an open lane, conduit to everything. And all these pieces experiencing physical form and being all one while we do it. But yet the illusion keeps us believing that we're not one, we're separate. Which we discover is the illusion. Keeps us distracted quite well, doesn't it? Now, we're focused on this planet, Earth, Gaia, Arya. It's complete liberation. From all lower dark matter, slab matter frequencies, pure evil, souls that have taken in too much darkness, transcending into a God-planned paradise. So we're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one. And we're all love. And we're all God. And our God, force, love, light, energy isn't all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, grow, strengthen, and expand. Now we form a massive circle of light, white fire light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. In this now. This emanates from the gods that we are within these bodies. Pure, deep, eternal love. This circle of light, white fire light, is so bright that you could take all these trillion suns, put them all together, and they would pale in comparison to this light. It grays out the darkness of sacred space. There is no light any brighter. And we're flooding this planet, saturating it, permeating it, on it, in it, above and below it. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Now we begin to ascend above the planet. We're immediately met with this massive ocean of glitter. Now, it's not like an ocean of glitter we would depict on this planet. So we take things that we're familiar with, such as a grand finale fireworks display, grand finale laser light show display, and the ballroom globe, the one we're familiar with. The mirrors shine light on it, and it floods the room with light. Now, we intensify all of these, trillion times at least, and then we combine them all into one massive crescendo. And then we have this massive burst of light everywhere, and sparkles like you've never, ever seen before. And the light is everywhere, shimmering, sparkling. It's magnificent. And that's about as near as we'll get to describing the ocean of glitter. And we look at the reflective points in the ocean of glitter, which are everywhere. We notice these little tiny microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. We enter them, and then we discover a whole lot that we're all teaching each other and learning from each other at all times. Now, that doesn't necessarily always mean the gods in the physical form only. It means all physical forms. Without the God Force Love Light energy, everything would be what? It wouldn't exist. So all of us are, now, those of us who have decided to go in experience this a lot more. Those of us who are still caught in the material physical world, rarely, but we still do. A dog, a cat, a bird, a squirrel, a horse, cow, moose, bug in a rug, fly on the wall. It's all a learning experience. People may come into your life for 10 seconds, teaching you something. Right? You may sit in the park and watch the trees with a breeze, sunshiny day, and look at those trees and look at the leaves and say, wonder what it's like to be a leaf on that tree. Now, as kids, I'm sure we all remember that there were times when we would just look at something and say, I want to be that. You want to be what? I want to be that. I want to be that horse. I want to be that tree. And, of course, it was silly to the adults, right? But it isn't that silly. It isn't silly because we can. Any of us can look at any form we choose, right? Focus on our breath, go into the now, still the ego mind, subconscious mind, and look upon whatever it is and say, I wonder what it's like to be that. And for a brief moment, you'll know exactly what it's like to be that. And we're not talking ego mind here. We're talking heart mind. And that's why we have all been everything. And everything has been us. And we continue with that journey. And we experience. Now, we create, the gods that we are in these bodies, we create fire lights, columns, crystalline light columns, flaming light. And so you have Archangel Raphael, who's carrying a brilliant emerald green flaming healing light. Well, we collectively created this to remind us all the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the healing of these bodies. Then we have Archangel Michael. He's carrying the purple, violet, blue flaming light. Now, we collectively created this to remind all of us, the gods that we are within these bodies, of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. Then we have the white fire. This is a firelight we created to remind us all that we are protected 24/7, infinity and beyond. We are protected by this white fire armor that this light puts on us. And the light emanates from the gods that we are in the body. Pure, deep, eternal love. Highest of the highest high vibrational frequency. Now, no demon possession, no attachments, nothing from these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. They can't sustain their form around that high vibrational frequency, so they either vaporize or they have to leave. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, anger, fear, greed, revenge, dishonesty, manipulation, hurriedness, envy, worry, stress, fear, you're going to lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor, allowing all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come in. Then there's possibilities, possession, attachments, and all kinds of stuff. Now, if you do decide to do this, we've got fail-safes in place. The gods that we are within these bodies. So we're immediately met with this double column of light. First part of the column is a purple transmuting flame. This was created so we remind us to bring in the purple transmuting flame, transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutralite substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are, no more. Then the second part of this column of light is the violet ray. This reminds us that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest of the deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. Then we're met by the golden white pink light. This is a column of light that we, the gods in these bodies, created to remind us all that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the rain and the rainbows. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the trees, the forests, the soils, the animals, the clouds in the sky. We're everything. Everything is us. Now, we've been trained through the illusion of separation that when we look at something like a sunset, rainbow, we say, isn't that beautiful? As if it's separate from us. And the truth is that it is beautiful because it's the God within each and every one of us. So through the heart mind and not the ego mind, right? Not the head, but the heart. When you see a sunset or a sunrise or a rainbow or a starlit night sky, that is the God that I am. And a shift will occur because you know when you're in your heart mind, and when you say that, you're acknowledging that you're not the body, you're the God within the body. Now, we continue to ascend above the planet. And some of us who are carrying physical form decide to step out of that physical form, hover effortlessly above it. And the reason we do this is, number one, we can, and number two, it's really, really, really fun. Now, we come in full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We, the gods in these bodies, created that tower, larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, there is an oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white ball of light. It, in turn, is surrounded by numerous multicolored rings of light that seem to go to infinity and beyond. This, in turn, creates a super bright cloud mist that's just flickering, reflecting, and flashing, and it's absorbed in through our heart-mind, and it feels like a warm embrace that never ends. And then we discover that the golden white ball of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, massive prosperity, and massive abundance. And all of this that we discover is a reflection of the gods that we all are within these bodies. Now, at the top of this tower, we, the gods in these bodies, created so that the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, 24/7, infinity and beyond. What is golden ocean? Golden ocean is pure, deep, eternal love, and it is flooding, saturating, permeating this planet, infinity and beyond. There's no escape from it. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Now, we're drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is a drops of the golden ocean, and the only illusion is separation. Now, we see our meditative sphere. The gods that we are in these bodies created this sphere over 4 years ago. And we're moving towards, it's holding towards 1,900 meditations in perpetual motion. Every day, 7 days a week for over 4 years. Now, these meditations are omnipotently powerful. They keep growing, strengthening, expanding. And they're concentrated on this planet. So they enrobe it, embrace it, penetrate it, saturate it, permeate it, non-stop, infinity and beyond. Everything. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe. No escape. Highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. Only way to eliminate lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. That's exactly what's happening. When you think of all the love that we're made of, hundreds of millions of us, consciously aware, focus on this planet's liberation, day after day for over 4 years, and you begin to understand how this is transcending everything. Will it quit? And no. It's going to continue infinity and beyond. So it's like, well, then you might want to watch it, right? Curious, right? So focus on your breath. Move into the now, in the heart, mind, and watch without judgment. And you'll see all this dark matter, rogue AI, dark, goopy matter, pure evil, souls that have taken on too much darkness, and you'll see them all evaporating. Now, we created, the gods that are in these bodies, an atmosphere from the ground up of this shimmering golden white pink light. You walk through it, you can see through it, but you can see the colors, unlike anything you've ever seen before. Now, as this goop, this black matter, goes up into this atmosphere, it starts to disintegrate. You see, it's everywhere. It's being vacuumed off the planet. And you watch as it disintegrates, as it goes up. Now, we also created this sky dome, so to speak, where if a smidgen of them gets through this atmosphere, they will hit that sky, and one immediate flash, they will be vaporized forever, infinity and beyond. And this is what's transpiring. And it's well on its way. So what happens when that's taking place? Yeah, you've got all the lower dark matter scurrying around, running everywhere, banging into walls, tripping over itself. It's a mad rush to hide. And it can't for the very first time. You watch as it loses its power, becomes weaker and weaker and weaker as it dissipates. And then after the flash, it is no more. You can plug into this anytime you choose. In this day and age, every person needs to experience some type of illumination. You are that person. Your greatest assignment is to let yourself be illuminated by your own presence. Let yourself be illuminated by your own presence. Buddha once said, be a light unto yourself. Let your light shine everywhere you go, as if a profoundly loved and honored person had just entered the room. Be lit up by your own vibration, and you'll light everyone's as well. With all your heart every day, celebrate the magnificent, divine, magical, manifesting being that you already are. I'll join you in meditation, and I'll return to close up. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose and an easy, slow breath out the mouth. Be still. You can always choose to be at peace with what is. At any moment of your life, you can decide to accept life's circumstances instead of resist or judge it. The result is total fulfillment and joy on every level of your being. It is your choice, each moment, where you choose to focus your situation or attention on what you want or what you don't want. So for today, is to only focus on what you do want and be at peace with that and with what you don't want. Only focus on what you want and be at peace with what you don't want. Entertain the feelings of being at peace no matter what occurs in your outer world. Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night and the following morning, and we will return here Tuesday, June 28th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guidance.